All right, team, we are back for the Ask Maddie show today. You guys brought some great questions. We're going to get into some ADA charting. Someone asked a when moon question, most important cryptos, maybe some API 3 analysis, and are we Casper shills? We're going to get into it all today. But before we get into it, Matt, I think it's important that the team knows what's going on over at CryptoCharged, our education platform.
Yeah, well, guys, over at CryptoCharge, which is where we're from, we have probably the most comprehensive educational experience for you guys, whether you are new to crypto, whether you've been in it for a while, you're looking for someone to be breaking down the charts 5 days a week, live on stream, covering those hit lists, top down, stock market, oils, whole bunch of crypto. We have our technical tune-up sessions on Friday, so you guys actually can participate and offer up to 2 of your own tickers a week, whether they're stocks or crypto. We chart those live on Fridays. Again, that's one of my favorite parts of the week. We've got our Discord, we've got our coin library, we've got the Learning Center, and that all comes at $49 a month if you guys use code YouTube plus a 30-day free trial. So again, there's no risk. You guys try it out. Day 29, you're like, you know what, this sucks. It's not for me. I don't have the time. Whatever it is, let me know. But you guys got whole 30 whole days to check it out, and I'd love for you guys to come, be over part of CryptoCharge with us, be part of the community.
Absolutely, Matt. Team, you guys left comments and some hot takes down below, calling us shills, calling us whatever, wanting help, wanting to throw some digs at us, and we're going to get into it today. Maddie, are you ready?
Let's do this thing.
Benny the Jet says, what do you guys think about buying Cardano right now? Does it even make sense buying it because there's so many other cryptos right now?
Yeah, so obviously you always want to make sure we're looking at all the opportunities that are on the board, making sure that we're, obviously not just picking the thing that's the absolute lowest, but looking at risk to reward, looking at market capitalization, of course, making some educated decisions based on research as well. Price itself or should not be the only indicator that we use to decide to get into something or not. But let's take a look at the Cardano chart together, and this is really where the magic happens for me and most of the decision making once I've kind of gotten that other stuff out of the way and I kind of know what kind of monster I'm dealing with. But when we look at the Cardano chart, one of the things that I love about it is you have this just great rebalancing when we take a look at Cardano. We're actually going to come out to a much bigger chart here. Let's see if maybe 5 days will fit this data a little bit better. Yeah, 5-day chart. So each one of these candles, guys, is worth 5 days worth of price action. Obviously, we can always do technical analysis on small time frames, but it's important you guys understand macro structure because it tells you really how good of an opportunity it is. So when we take a look at Cardano, you had a really, really big push here in 2017. Saw a high of $1.32, and then we pulled back and actually dropped below the initial launch price there. So from the high there, you guys lost almost 98%. So again, remember in the bear market, you're always going to see everyone be like, oh, look how much this is down, minus 98%, minus whatever. And like, this is what happens to alts, unfortunately. Like they just get smashed, tech gets smashed in a bear market. And the smaller the capitalization, the more it gets smashed. But that's the reward on the other side as well. We look at the swing high, swing low of the Fibonacci there from the 2018 high, 2019 low. You guys can see we've struck the 1.618 perfectly, which is again why I always encourage everyone to take at least something meaningful, 35% at least, upwards of 50%, maybe more at TP1. Make sure we're securing the bag because you would have been very happy taking a good chunk off the table. And then we got almost to the 2.618 there, fell a little bit shy, and then we came back down in for another correction. Now, when we look at where that correction ended up landing us, and we see the lows in there. So you had a nice double bottom in there all from, let's see, December 22 all the way through October 23. You had a huge floor that was built there at 24 cents. One area what I would have rather have seen it coincide would be closer down here where we had, kind of this media cumulative top. So I would have preferred to see 9 to 15. 24 was decent because you at least came down and tested some of that, little bit of that topping structure from previous. So you built this beautiful accumulation structure in here. You had so much opportunity in this bear market to not really have to finagle about price, right? Like, of course, this is a range and we're talking about 180% to the upside, but you had, if you had just purchased between 23 and even the top here, you would still not be in a bad spot, right? You'd be overall like pretty well positioned. You look at the pivot zone here and you would identify that as a bigger value zone at 43. At the minimum, let's say that you were at least DCing underneath that, you guys would probably be up on Cardano somewhere around at least still like 76% right now. Now, one thing that I love about this chart is that you can see that there's a attempt to flip this previous accumulation zone. And that's the behavior I would have rather have seen back here in 2019 through 2020. And we see a little bit more of that stair-stepping behavior this time around. So although, of course, there's probably other better risk to rewards out there, if we get rid of some of the stuff on our screen and we bring in the current fib situation so we can see what we'd actually be looking at cycle-wise this time. Again, beautiful bottom in there. You're still below the 236, which from our macro DCA roll, puts you in a decent spot. If we wanted to target something, I would definitely like to see maybe like 55 cents, maybe down towards 44. That would be like a really good value zone. But what I really do love about the chart, and this is my biggest bone to pick with a lot of other charts, is you have this beautiful breakout backtest structure that's been happening, and that actually sets you up for very great sustainable growth to the upside. So let's say from current market, which I think is still decent, up into even like I say this imbalance here around the 618, we get around 170% return up towards the 1.618, about a 5.7x, and then up to the 4.236, about a 16x opportunity. Now, if we were to maybe get one of our limits filled closer to 54, now we're looking towards the 618, like a 250 up to the 1.618, like almost 8x, and then maybe towards like a 21x. So you guys can see also sometimes being patient if you're able to get a limit filled, if you see it's a very big area of interest, it can really set you up for a very big reward. So again, are there potentially better RRR out there? Yes, but we have long-term sustainable price action. We have a lot of healthy structures in here, and it's offering that rebalancing structurally. What I'm always looking for, and that's what I'm looking at for too expensive or not, like we're seeing with XRP, like we're seeing with HBAR right now.
Noam says, do we moon soon or can it be longer?
Of course, it can always be longer, right? Like. Of course, I'm like always hyped when we get big impulses and we see, the market's moving nicely, and Zcash is starting to wake up right now. We saw APA3 do a huge turnaround, right? Like almost a 200% move in a matter of what was it, Gav, like less than 2 weeks or something like that. And I think that we kind of started to see sometimes that dance with alts before, you actually get some big moves with Bitcoin. We're still below 90K on Bitcoin, right? Like that 90, 95K region is still going to be an area of interest that we're going to have to really start to reclaim. Dominance is still kind of chopping sideways. So I'd say that we're still in an accumulative phase right now for the most part. I've seen most alts kind of be building those larger structures. Of course, some beat up more than others, but I would say the majority, especially a lot of the larger cap stuff, is holding key levels very, very well right now. So I think that we are probably building a longer but healthier cycle this time around than we've seen in the last two cycles. And I'm not saying we won't get blow off tops and we won't get those parabolas, but I think we're taking a little bit more time to build into those. And we might see more corrections this time around than we've seen last time. And again, that's not a bad thing. And maybe it changes people's perception of do they want to be in the space or not? If it's not going to be instant overnight gains, does it maybe flush out some of the cheapening of, the meme coins, just flooding in? Maybe some of this behavior is a good thing. So again, timing the market, it's a fool's errand. I've tried to do it in the past. I think a lot of people try to do it in the past. We can obviously look at other indicators. We can look at, potential timing, what we think the Fed might do, and, when we think tariffs might not be an issue anymore, right? We can kind of model those things the best we can, but it's still a whole lot of guesswork. So, I think that we're still in a very healthy bull market right now, and I'm ready for the next leg.
Jeremy says, what is the most important crypto I should have in my bag?
It's hard to say most important crypto because one of the parts of the consistent investor strategy, which is on our website, guys, less than a 15-minute video, gives you everything you need to know about our investing thesis. It's more about like trying to approach a handful of verticals that you think are important, and then also trying to find that pairing of like maybe low to mid capitalization with that to give yourself a nice blend of, good risk to reward, but still a little bit of that spread. So I would say so a lot of the stuff that we talk about here on our channel regularly, as well as cryptocharts.com, we have other assets in there as well that people are interested in that we have in the coin library. They're not things that we personally hold, but we find them, to be fundamentally sound enough to offer that technical analysis. But I think that especially if you're looking for a little bit of an edge, right, I don't think that we need to include Bitcoin in our portfolio at this point. If you wanted one of the larger caps, like one of the two granddaddies, I would definitely suggest ETH over, even Solana or XRP right now, just because, you have a much better price on ETH right now. I think overall it still is offering good risk to reward. So if you wanted something a little bit more heavily balanced, I would maybe add a little bit of ETH. I would definitely open that Casper position. We get right now 15.5% APY in the native pool. That's a very great way to build your bag too, without, adding an additional capital. Obviously APA3 is one that I really do like right now. I think that we could pull back towards $1 or so, and that would be a better spot to potentially pick up some more. Having an Oracle as an option there. I would say maybe Algorand would also be a great pick for you to consider adding for payments, something that's blue chip that's still, offering a good risk to reward ratio. And I think those would be probably some good places to start. I also like HNT right now. I think HNT is in a very, very good spot. It's part of my DCA. I'm doing a 2-part DCA right now. So it's Casper and HNT. So those are two things I both like fundamentally and price-wise. HNT is also very cool as it's decentralized cellular networks. They're partnered with T-Mobile, and you can basically have a second line on your phone today. I like those kinds of projects that have real tangible use cases as well, that we can say like, this is not speculative, this is what's happening. It makes it a little easier for that investment to make sense. So again, always do your own research. There's a lot of research on our website that you can look through. You can look through the whole coin library. You can look at risk to rewards. We have a lot of great measurements in there for you to look at, but those are some of the things I would maybe consider taking a look at.
Danner says, any updates on API 3? They always want to know after it pumps, right, Matt?
Speak of the devil, everyone loves to shit on her, but you know what? She's our wild child. We always say, what you doing, baby girl? When the API 3 pops off, because she's just in both directions. She's really just wild. Now let's take a look here at the API 3 chart, and I'll show you guys what everyone's so curious about. And this is kind of in my opinion, the Casper-esque reversal that we've got here on API 3. So you built this kind of just very messy accumulative range up here in 2021. We started to kind of break some lows in there. You can see that turned into a ceiling of resistance in 23, started to kind of build that reaccumulative phase. Got a push. We ended up just clearing out the imbalance here. So that's what we saw in a lot of the 2024 pumps is like when this happened, everyone's like, that was it. You picked the wrong coin. It's over. But I don't think that was the reality. I think that we were starting to see more of a confirmation that bear market was over, and we were seeing a little bit more, reaccumulation at that point. Now, this is the thing that happened on Casper too that kind of really just got everyone absolutely freaked out. Obviously, I didn't love to see it. I've been buying API 3 a long time. I've been staking API 3 a long time, so I kind of just like know this is how it moves, and it just doesn't stress me out that much. We had a huge break below key support in here, right? And I think that always disappoints people when we're in bull and you see a new break. So we dropped about 40% below the previous double bottom that was set here in June and again here in August. You can see even here we started close candle body and start to see reversal at the middle of February, and then you got that additional break on that crazy fundamental news. We all know what that felt like in the markets. You guys can look at pretty much any chart and you can know exactly the move that we're seeing here on this 3-day chart for API 3. Now what we've seen here is, so that low is set just under 50 cents. And we saw about a 200% move in a matter of like 13 to 15 days or something like that. Huge move, right? So not only did you break and close multiple candles back over this double bottom here from August through September, you can see there was also a top of the support band that was built here as well from June of 2022. And then we had a lot of tests here in October. Clean closes over that there as well. And now we're finally encountering some resistance up in here around the pivot zone. So we've actually, in a matter of less than 2 weeks, not only set a new low, but then recovered above like 2 key support levels. And I would say this puts us in much friendlier territory. Now, if you guys know what we talk about on a regular basis, it should be like burned into your brains. Your spouse should hate you because you probably say this all the time. Breakout, backtest. You absolutely need to see the backtest. So the fact that we destroyed this level, this very important level of this market, this band between 80 cents and let's just call it $1 to give us a nice round number, that needs to be back tested because we want to see that that's a confirmed support level. If we can back test between 80 cents and $1, then I think that we could potentially take another run at this resistance around $1.50 and work our way towards 212 and then 336 respectively. So again, just going to take a quick peek, even though we're not doing a full analysis on the Casper chart. Do you guys see the similarities here? So you had the big test, and I would say API 3 has actually recovered a little bit more. So API 3 has like technically broken over like the 2.6 level where Casper's at. So Casper probably a little better R to R right now if you guys wanted to pick something up like that. But again, API 3 really scared a lot of people. She is a small market cap. I think she's just around 100 million or so right now. And this is what happens with some of the small caps, the Velos, the Caspers of the world. You can't have it both ways. You're going to get the dumps that are hard when we have those sell-offs, but you're also going to get the really big reversals because they are smaller caps when we do get those recoveries.
We can go to the next question here, but I just wanted to say something quick, Matt. It's just so funny how these people online will go out of their way to say, oh, and the next question is going to kind of be an example of what I'm talking about here, how people will go out of their way to say, oh, Casper is so dead, the marketing sucks so bad, and Casper will never be able to recover. But just to see a pop like that, Matt, 150% move, a 200% move, that's very powerful. And that just kind of goes back to not being so locked in with the news all the time, and that being your like only touch point for how you should be approaching buying. You got to do that fundamental research, and you got to be able to understand where you're getting technically on the chart, where you're entering that position. But these whole oh, the marketing's not good enough, like time and time again, we're just seeing how that is just not a good argument.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's, I'm not saying that we need to ignore news and we shouldn't pay attention to what's going on. But sometimes we need to step back and accept that the gravity of what you think you potentially have at hand is not as big of a long-term narrative as it feels in that moment. It's very easy to get sucked into it, and especially if you go rush to the telegrams and Twitter and or X and other social media outlets. You're going to see, of course, the biggest dramatization of absolutely everything, and that's really what gets the clicks. And that they do it on purpose. There's a lot of engagement farming, and it's a bummer. And a lot of these are people, the same people that couldn't talk highly enough of it, and the fundamentals were super sound, and they're long-term bulls. And you get a break in price like that, and the market already looks bad, and you rush to all these places like I mentioned. You're going to make some bad decisions, right? So I'm not saying don't sell things if they don't fit your values or the way that you have risk and all this other stuff. But you can see more often than not that those moments are actually very, very short in retrospect when we look at these longer term charts.
Yeah, true. And I even want to bring up an example talking about the crypto we're going to talk about next here is with these narratives, we saw, like, for example, with Casper last year, we saw the immediate selling on the Casper Labs Prove AI news going over to Hedera. And so that was a knee-jerk reaction, but we've seen recovery since then, we've dropped to lower prices now, but we're seeing recovery and we are forecasting more recovery and more higher highs from here. But even with that instance, I just wanted to say, Matt, it has been 6 months since that announcement came out of
It's
Casper
wild.
Labs becoming Prove AI. And what has become of Prove AI on the Hedera blockchain? Nothing. It's been 6 months. We've heard nothing about Prove AI on the Hedera blockchain. So, what was the real fuss of that? What was the real cause? Like, yeah, we know how the structures were a little bit odd, and that was a kind of like hard thing to grasp. But the Prove AI product that was supposed to be coming on Casper, that is now supposed to be coming on Hedera, it has been 6 months and we've heard nothing about it. So it just kind of goes to show, like, hey, these news events where people freak out, you shouldn't be freaking out. You should remain calm and then buy more if you believe in that blockchain.
Yeah, definitely agree. It's very important that we like not just internalize our emotions when things are happening. I encourage people to journal, and I'm not like trying to come from like a hippy dippy standpoint, but like sincerely, guys, like you're having a good day in crypto, you're having a bad day in crypto. That quick journal entry can keep you from doing some very stupid shit and kind of help you like recenter your thoughts. And it's okay to have negative thoughts. It's perfectly normal, but how you approach those emotions and how you decide to have discipline over them is a very, very big portion of your portfolio management. You guys have to remember that most people don't manage their own investments because this is a very emotional space. They are happy to give a financial advisor a nice cut of their earnings and a performance fee because they don't want to do the research. They don't want to deal with it. They just want to know everything's going to be okay. And when you decide to pick individual products in a space that is evolving like this, yeah, you're going to have to deal with some emotions that probably every person doesn't have to. But by the time we have financial advisors fully controlling most people's crypto portfolios, we've missed the initial boom, right? So like this is part of the cost of it is that you have to make a conscious effort to manage and be disciplined over your emotions.
So, with all that being said, now I'm going to actually read out the question with where we're going with this. Axe says, it's highly likely these fools are being paid to push this scam. Beware of these guys. Casper is a scam. Maddie, are we being paid to shill Casper?
I really just don't even know like how someone would prove or not prove this, but you see everything that's out there with the number of people that openly take compensation from projects, or even worse, lie about it. And then there's like clear DMs that get out. Like somebody would have definitely, figured something out by now if we were getting paid to push Casper. I promise I haven't received any like crazy compensation from anybody for anything. We are very, very particular about partnerships as a whole. We're very particular about, even what we talk about on the show, which is why sometimes you guys will bring up all these new cryptos all the time. And it's like, we can't like honestly say that we can keep up with all of this. We are telling you guys about stuff that we actively are invested in. Again, I don't think there's enough money in this project for me to even be able to manipulate the market, right? Like, I think that as a whole, just it's very easy when you have small caps to start beating people up and point fingers when you're unhappy with performance or whatever it is. But again, guys, I'm not here to offer you guys financial advice, especially for you guys that are tuning in for YouTube and other places that aren't actually members. Like, you're not paying me anything, right? So like at the end of the day, like I'm just sharing some information with you guys about how we invest, the things we found about it, and everything we talk about is verifiable. I'm not telling you guys things that aren't publicly available for you to go and do your own research. And that's really what this comes down to, is a lack of research and a lack of self-reliance. You guys look to influencers, and I don't want to consider it as influencers, I consider it as for the most part educators, but you have all these other people in the space that will like push out 50 new cryptos a week, and to me that's more shilling than talking about a project you actually believe in consistently. You look in the back review mirror and you think about even how people were talking about XRP. XRP is a scam. You guys can look at all the hundreds of comments that we've had previously where the people were saying, oh, every coin that these guys pick does nothing. They always just move sideways for all this time, whatever. And now like people are like, where's the fucking pullback on XRP? And I'm like, oh, it's gone. Sorry. Like, my bad. Like, did you want it to do nothing and get a good price, or did you like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have it all, guys. Like, you can't have the instant guaranteed win every time. So Casper could be at 22, 50 cents, you know, a handful of months from now. And people are going to be begging, where's the 5 cent pullback, right? And I think that we're just trying to share with as much information with you guys as I can, both price wise, you know, fundamentals. We've had Michael on twice now to educate you from the horse's mouth. So, you know, and again, it's just all been very like technology focused. And if you guys don't like it, if it's not a good fit for you, if the small cap is too much volatility, that's fine. There's a million opportunities out there for you guys. But like, look at even our viewership, right? Like, we've had a great growth over the last 2 years, but you guys can see it's just been consistent, slow growth with our channel, and we are not rushing to accept partnerships and compensation or any of that stuff. So, you know, we're just trying to keep it genuine with you guys, trying to keep it, you know, keep it 100, 10 toes. And, you know, that's what we do at CryptoCharge.com. There's a reason that our members have been with us 2, 3, almost 4 years now, because we're consistent through that, and they're seeing some of the longer term picks come into fruition. So everything's not a guaranteed win. You guys have to think about positioning, budget, timelines, and some of these opportunities don't fit with you, and that's okay. But that's not my fault, and that does not make me a shiller.
Great explanation there, Matt. And team, if you're watching this, you're not a Crypto Charge member, or you're not a subscriber, or interested in, like, you know, the team here, you should probably just leave now, because, you know, we are very focused. You know, there's, like, Maddie has an email out there, I have an email out there, and so we'll both get emails from companies. Like the big exchanges, like once you cross that 10,000 subscriber threshold, these exchanges start reaching out to you, all right? Which is great. It sounds like a cool idea, but you know, I read through these emails and they're just like not even interesting. And I brought a couple of them to Matt, and it's just like it wouldn't even make sense, you know? And
right.
So
it doesn't make sense even education wise, because we are such big proponents of cold storage. We don't want you to be on exchange. We want you to use the exchange as a marketplace, but then be off exchange. So like, my goal is not to like talk up any of these entities that I always urge you guys to just use like a tool. Like, they're not people, they don't care about you. So let's treat them like that. And I'm not saying like exchanges are bad people, but like, we're not exchange junkies. So if we won't even promote an exchange, why the hell would I promote a project, even if I'm an investor, you know, if, you know, just for like a little bit of compensation? Like, I promise you, Casper Association does not have enough money to pay me enough money to just kind of get on the show and talk regularly about a project that I don't even invest in.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Casper wouldn't be happy with us, like, you know, going Monday's show being all about Casper, and then flip on Wednesday being a Hedera show or something related. Right. So we're like going against competitors there, and so, and we know you guys know that we both hold Casper and Hedera, and we hold other cryptos here. So it's, you know, you got to make up this weird little thing in your head to believe that, but I don't even think you know, will ever take anything from anyone, because just like you said with the exchanges, it doesn't make sense, because we're going to go to the best options out there. Absolutely. With the exchanges, and we've done that over time. Like, look what happened with Uphold. Now a lot of our Crypto Charge members are back using Uphold again, where for a time we had options elsewhere with right. MEXC, with, you know, KuCoin at the time. So like, there were so many other exchanges we had better options wise, and we just went over there. And now that those options are gone, we're going to go back, and we're always going to use the best thing, because we are here to make money in crypto, and we're not loyal to an exchange, and we're definitely not getting paid to be at an exchange. Because if we did, we would just be talking about Uphold all day, or Coinbase, or whatever exchange was giving us money. And this actually kind of spurs off something I, you know, wanted to talk. I don't even really want to talk about it, but there was like a couple comments last show just about the link to thing that got brought up, because I know a lot of people are probably sensitive about that. And if you look at the comments, they're all boomers, and so I'll explain why that's significant. But the whole link to thing, that was actually in response to what Maddie brought up with Coach JV, because Coach JV, like the people we just described that take money from companies, Coach JV was that guy getting paid or had a deal locked up with Link 2. And it was so funny, because back in the day, this was 3 years ago. So you guys are
That's crazy to me.
If you guys don't know what, like, we just breached, like, you know, ran over it. But what happened is, you know, when we were recording content back in the day, we would, you know, listen to these people like Coach JV, and he would spew out disinformation and nonsense, and obviously we don't want to do that. And he was saying things like XRP's in a lawsuit with the SEC, which is wrong, and he would say Ripple v SEC, or just like all those, like, you know, very basic things we talk about a lot, which are just, you're saying it wrong. It's not it's plaintiff v defendant, not the other way around. And so, you know, we would just criticize those things, and then we realized it was like, oh wait, this guy's being paid by Link 2 to do some sort of deal. But the thing at the time with Link 2 was it was only for accredited investors. So you had to come in with like a bunch of money to even participate. And we're just like, how does this affect the greater crypto audience? What are you going to get? Maybe one, two people that you're shilling this to? So, you know what? Whatever. Fine. Now we're in 2025 and Link 2 is going through it. People can't get access to their assets for 2 months now. The Link 2 team has gone completely silent and there is a team transition here. And so, like, some of the people were just saying, oh, you're saying they're bankrupt or whatever. 5 seconds later, Matt, I literally said, hey, hold on. I interrupted Maddie like an idiot. I'm like, hey, Matt, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't want to overspeak here. Basically saying I don't have all the facts. I don't want to get into it. But those 3 facts I did say are true, and you can go look that up. John Dean was one of the people that brought up bankruptcy, so I was quoting him. Bankruptcy is not imminent. There's a lot of things up on the table. And I'll even shout out this. If you want more information about it, John Deaton this Thursday at like 6 p.m. on his X account or a Zoom. He's going to be doing a Zoom. You can go onto his Twitter account and watch that, and he's going to break it down for you because he has some thoughts about it. Because there's some ties here with the XRP Ripple community. Everyone was kind of involved. If you were into XRP, you probably wanted to buy pre-IPO shares of Ripple. And so, you know, hey, it's unfortunate, but to you boomers in the comments, because I saw your images and you're all boomers, okay?
You're all boomers.
And it's like, hey, be a normal person and take it out on your wife. Don't take it out on a 23-year-old on the internet. It's just completely uncalled for. Because like I said in the comments, and I dropped the timestamp on where I corrected myself, Matt. And they were like, oh, you're calling for a fire. And then you like, you know, you say, oh, no, I didn't mean it was a fire. It's like, no, I said bankruptcy, and I was like, I'm thinking another exchange here. No, they're not going through bankruptcy. I don't want to overspeak here, but there is these 3 things that are happening, and then that was it. And then everyone had to freak out. But it's like these boomers, Matt, these people, and it's like, I know that I'm saying they're boomers because they're old. They have this old way of thinking, and the old way of thinking I'm talking about is this. It's like when your wife makes an off-color joke to you about your weight, and she's like, oh, you're eating that? Well, I didn't really mean it like that. And then you're like, well, you said it anyways. You said it. And it's like, well, she backed it up right afterwards. She apologized right afterwards. So it's like, whatever, guys. But I just thought that was interesting. And because we're not, Matt, we are not going to take money from other people. Because if you look at our content over the last 2 years, it's constantly evolving and changing. Our portfolio is constantly evolving, adding new things to the portfolio, constantly going to different marketplaces to buy crypto. So I just don't know what they could even lean on, Matt.
Yep, I think there's nothing to lean on. You guys know that if, you can go back and watch any of our content. We've been very consistent with our messaging. I've been very consistent about where I believe crypto's at technology-wise, from a legal standpoint, from a regulation standpoint, and I would say that I've been incredibly consistent with those views for 2, 3, 4 years now. So, again, I'm sorry if you guys feel that way, that we're out here trying to, spread misinformation or, mislead you guys with shills, but that's sincerely not the case. And again, you can come and check out our community absolutely free for 30 days and kind of see what we're all about. You don't have to just sit here and be angry on YouTube.
All right, team, thank you for joining us. If you got something valuable today, make sure you leave a like. And I guess I have to say this now. If you guys have questions, bring them to the table. I want some interesting questions. They're getting a little stale right now. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving the questions. I've seen these questions a lot. Think outside the box. Leave it down below. And we will see you guys on next week's shows. Bye.